Hi, this is Greg McCoach, editor of the Mining Speculator. I'm here with Scott Close, Director of Investor Relations for EMX Royalty, and we're here in Toronto at the Metals Investor Forum. Scott, glad you're here.
Oh, thanks for having me, Greg. Good to see you again.
No, this is always one of my favorite venues out of all the conferences we attend. I like this venue because it's the newsletter writers that get to pick the companies they want. In other words, just because you have money and can write a check doesn't mean you get in here, right?
That's right.
And so that distinguishes us, I think, at this
That's right.
Yeah. So there's only about 22 companies here, so everybody gets a good look at the companies that attend. So I see that there's to me, I see a sharper group of investors that attend a show like this, and I think you see it too in the quality of the conversations you have.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, Scott and I, we just got done a question-answer panel with the investors here, and I thought it was very, some good questions from everybody that they were asking all the panelists. And,
yeah, it goes back to your astute investors here. So they asked astute questions.
Right, yeah. So, I want everybody to know that I've been following EMX Royalty, which was previously known as Eurasian Minerals, for 14 years. Hard to believe that Dave Cole, when I first met him, when he was first getting started, I remember him getting the first checks to get going, and he was so excited, But look at what's happened, and in my view, you guys have, year after year after year, your company just gets stronger and stronger and stronger. Regardless of what's happening in the ups and downs of the gold market, you're building value for the future, and that's what I see. Like I said, I have this in my retirement account. And there's a reason for that. There's not many junior mining companies I'd be willing to put in my retirement account, but EMX Royalty is one of them. And so, why don't you tell us what the value proposition, what you see as the primary drivers as to why investors should take a look at EMX?
Well, the value proposition is, we have 90 properties and projects in the portfolio. So we have an enormous portfolio, and all of those are potential royalty streams for us. Now, about half of those properties are actually in the royalty column. The other half of those, since we're a prospect generator, are properties that are available for partnership with potential partners. And then when they would take those on, those would become potential royalty assets also.
What's the interest right now? Would you say the majors and the tier one guys, are they talking to you?
Oh, they're definitely talking to us, and they're very interested in specifically, the majors are really interested in Arizona. So a lot of the majors left Arizona and went out to other areas of the world, and now they're coming back to Arizona and revisiting that, and we have positioned ourselves very well there with a strong list of properties available for partnership, and a number of properties that are in partnership currently with people like Kennecott Exploration, which is an arm of Rio Tinto. Arizona Mining has one of our properties down there. They're doing a great job. Antofagasta, and so on. And that is a very important mineral province.
Yeah.
And then also in Sweden and Norway, during the downturn, we kept a very close eye on what was going on up there, and a lot of properties were dropped as other companies got tight on cash, and we picked those up. So we've got a very strong portfolio of projects there. We vended out a lot of those projects, which are in royalty status now, and a lot of those are being advanced right now. In fact, there's 2 active programs, drill programs, taking place right now in Sweden, and those are being advanced on somebody else's treasury.
So you got a lot going on. You're an international company with good projects in many different good jurisdictions, and things are happening. You know? And I can see that when the gold market kicks into gear, that you have great leverage to a higher gold price.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's a big plus for you guys. Now, one of the other things I always try to, when I do my research and my picks, you've been a pick in my newsletter since the inception. It's never changed, We've been through the ups and downs. We've taken profits at times. We've reloaded when it goes back low again. Mm-hmm. And through all that time, throughout all 14 years, we've never had a rollback.
That's
which
right.
is a major, major accomplishment in this day and age of junior mining companies that have to keep going back to the trough to keep financing. They get bloated. They have to do a rollback. Very negative for current investors, right? You've never done that, and what's your current share structure right now?
We have about 80 million shares outstanding and about 88 million shares fully diluted.
So still well under 100 million.
That's right.
Good share structure.
And we have cash coming in from production royalties, advanced royalties, milestone payments that from companies or partners that are being advanced right now by other companies. When they come to a milestone like a pre-feasibility study or initiate production or something like that, would be an example of a milestone. At that point, they would have to make a cash payment to us. And then there's annual payments on properties that our partners have to make. And then we garner management fees on properties that we manage exploration on for our partners. We capture a 10% management fee and things like that. So we have cash flow coming in from a lot of different angles, not just simply production payments. And then we also receive reimbursements from our partners on work that we may have done, and now they have to reimburse us for.
Wow.
So.
And that's a credit, I think, to Dave Cole. He's a great deal maker, as we all know.
Indeed he is. He's a very shrewd guy like that.
Yeah, I love Dave there. Yeah, he's really put together a great company, and you've been with him since.
Going on 11 years.
Yeah, hard to believe. We've been traveling to these conferences together. I always see Scott on the plane because he lives in Denver, where I live. So we're often on the same plane going to the same conference. So, one other thing that I want to bring up that I know you guys are making it in many different ways, but one of the things that I think has really been an added bonus is that you were able to establish your own exploration arm in Bronco Creek Exploration. So tell me a little bit about that, because I see that as another real plus.
Yeah, so Bronco Creek is a privately held company based out of Tucson, Arizona, run by two PhD geologists that were a result of the economic geology program at the University of Arizona, which is one of the best schools of economic geology in North America. That was Dr. Dave Jensen and Dr. Eric Jensen. And Dr. Jensen came up and gave us a presentation trying to get us interested in some of those properties.
Yeah.
Well, we weren't really interested in those properties. We were really interested in their intellect.
Intellect. Yeah.
So they had some really great properties, and we were we weren't interested in necessarily joint venturing those, but we thought they were really good properties, and those guys we thought were extraordinarily sharp guys. And as time went on, we kept in close contact with those guys, and they really wanted to advance the company, and to do that, they probably would have had to become publicly traded, but they weren't interested in becoming a public company because then they couldn't be geologists anymore, which is their passion. They'd have to become compliance officers and marketers and accountants and all the things that other people should be doing, not those guys. So they asked us if we were interested in acquiring them or merging with them, and we said, geez, yeah. So we took on a real brain trust there. I mean, they truly are a brain trust. I mean, those two guys are referred to as our geo savants, and they absolutely have a encyclopedic knowledge base of geology.
Well,
it's really staggering.
It's impressive. It's impressive, and I just think that adds to the whole, demeanor of the company and where you're going. So, overall, anything else you want to say? We need to wrap up here. So,
really, I think the real opportunity here is when we become decidedly cash flow positive, which could easily happen this year, depending on how our partners advance properties and what the commodities prices do. Once we become decidedly cash flow positive, I think we're going to see a very material change in the share price. And once we become that, that will open a lot of doors, enable a lot of funds and asset managers to buy the shares, and that
some real momentum.
Would develop some momentum in the share price.
Super. Hey, Scott.
Thank you, Greg.
Glad to be here. I'm always on board.
Okay, thank you.
Take care.